best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Willow, unable to do an audio test even after a year and a half, like a normal human being. So what we do at the start of every episode is we do a little audio test where we say a sentence, and then Willow says a sentence, and it makes sure that our audio levels are good. And while I don't change the settings, it's Mercury fucking retrograde. The settings just change on their own. And then sometimes the laptop is like, oh, you're recording using the laptop's microphone. We've had to record over, I can't tell you how many episodes.
Y'all were there. Most of y'all heard that like weird episode where it was like both of our mics playing at the same time. So we were talking over each other. Yeah, it was weird.
It was fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it did that. So to prevent dumbassery and technical difficulties, we do an audio test, and I do it normal, the same way I've done it every day since we've done this podcast. And Willow is like, hello, I don't know how to talk now. every single time. It boggles the mind, it does.
I really should be studied. Like, whatever mental illnesses I have should be studied. I think it might be like something new.
It's a lot. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, that's a little levity because this case doesn't have any. It's terrible. And I want to go ahead and give you some trigger warnings, content warnings ahead of time. Abuse of animals and children, and actually no abuse of animals. I don't even know why. Oh, this is for a different case, my trigger warnings. I'm an idiot. So,
Mercury retrograde.
There's some yucky language and slut shaming and victim blaming in this.
Okay.
Not from me, but by the media. And yes, I'm going to mention it. Also, there is a mention of a suicide in this. So I would really, caution you. It's towards the end of the episode. But if you don't have the spoons for that today, I understand. So this is the case of Missy Avila. And Missy was born on February 8th, 1968, in Arleta, Los Angeles, which is in the San Fernando Valley in California. Her parents divorced when she was in her early teens, and this kind of sent her into a pretty hefty depression. You'll see, like, her grades start to slip when she enters high school, and the family all agreed it was probably from the divorce, and that's pretty normal. Mm-hmm. But by the time she was 17 years old, she had begun to heal from the divorce and was also trying really hard to get her grades up, trying to kind of keep on the straight and narrow. She wanted to be a physical therapist. She was really popular in school. She was a cute kid. She was beautiful. She had long brown hair, green eyes. She was very petite. She was only 4'11", so she was just tiny. She was just this tiny little thing. And she was really into her hair, and this is important later. And I understand this. Like, my hair...
Same. I'm sitting here, twirling my hair while you're talking. So,
my hair is, weirdly, my identity.
Yeah.
I won't cut it. It's, past my butt. It's huge and curly and crazy.
It's gorgeous. It looks like a waterfall.
It's mermaid hair.
It is.
Evil witch hair. That's what I want. So I really get this. A lot of people are like, oh, she's into her hair. No. It's part of who you are, and hair is cool.
Yeah.
But she had the Farrah Fawcett style going on at the time because that was really in style. So the little flips on the side, it was really cute. She really looks a lot like my mom looked at that age. Had the same hairstyle and everything. And my mom was born around then, by the way. So,
what time period is this?
My mom was born in the 50s, but late 50s.
Okay.
So this is in 1985. Okay. This story takes place. She was born in 1968. Now, I could find precious little information about her life, her earlier life. I guess, what can you say? She's just a kid.
Right.
And I think, when you have a young victim and she's 17, I just don't think there's going to be a lot of backstory.
Right.
Not all the time.
I think about that for myself and my children. If we were ever in a situation like this, what would our stories be? And that's basically it. It's we had fun in the summer. We went swimming and hiking and were people. Like, what are you going to say?
That my kids have, what have they done? They haven't done any. They're young. They're new, fresh out the box. Like, they haven't had a chance, and neither had she, to live her life yet. And that's why we don't have too much information, because nothing monumentous happened in her early childhood. Right. Missy became friends with another girl named Karen Severson when they were both, when Missy was 8 and Karen was 7. It involved a missing cat. Like, Karen had come to help find her cat, and they became friends. It was really cute. And they were like thick as thieves. They did everything together. Karen was over at Missy's house so much that Karen called Irene, Missy's mom. And Missy felt like Karen was her bodyguard. Karen was bigger than her because Missy was tiny. She was just like teeny tiny. 4'11" is nothing. That's Hobbit sized.
I remember always like feeling really safe with bigger kids. Yeah. Like, I had a friend that was safe. A lot taller.
Karen, like, didn't take no shit either. She was always, like, defending her against bullies. They played Barbies together, and it was like they found their individual confidence within their friendship because they had both been very shy kids. Missy was very shy and kind of reserved, and Karen wasn't shy because she was reserved. She was shy because she was kind of an outcast at school. She never felt like she fit in. She always felt like an outlier. She was never pretty enough by her estimation. And y'all, when I hear this case covered, the way they talk about these young girls is so fucking gross. And we're not going to do that today.
How?
Well, part of the motive in this case is jealousy.
Oh, so people are like, oh, I could see why they're jealous.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so weird.
Isn't that disgusting? Can we just stop commenting on people's bodies? For like 5 minutes?
Yeah, and having like preconceived notions about people's bodies too. Like, oh yeah, they must feel that way because they look this way. Like, no, what?
Yeah, because Karen never said she was jealous, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. The relationship started to sour when they both started going to San Fernando Valley High School. And Missy wouldn't be there for long. She went to kind of a school for troubled kids, you know. I forget the name of the school. She wasn't there long either. Merris actually went to like a school for...
I was threatened it.
Went to a school for like teen mothers. He was not pregnant. But he struggled. I was always
threatened to be sent there. Yeah. But never did.
He struggled a lot in school because he had undiagnosed dyslexia. And so... like, he didn't skip class or do drugs or any of that, but they sent him there anyway. And I just think it's pitiful.
Every story about Merris's past.
It's a Dickens novel. It's awful, y'all. He's like, one Christmas, I finally got the gift I liked, but Father took it away. Like, it's just all stuff like that. Like, if you think you've had a bad day, Merris has had a worse day somehow, and it was also humiliating publicly.
And like, kind of funny, which is sad.
And you laugh because it's just like, no, that's on a show. Yeah. It's on a funny sitcom. It's scripted. But it wasn't. Nope. It was his life, and it was pathetic. So we'll just move on. Yeah. So... being at different schools, and it's important to note, because this is in every discussion about this case, that Missy was very popular with the boys in school. She was really outgoing and cute.
Oh, do people make this weird?
They make it weird. Of course they make it weird. People suck.
People did that when I was a teenager, too, because I was really good friends with a lot of dudes. And they're... yeah.
She was like that. I mean, she had friends who were girls. She was kind of friends with everybody, but guys thought she was hot. That was it. They just thought she was cute, and she got flirted with a lot. She got a lot of attention.
And she was just like, dudes are funny.
And so a lot of people think that Karen was really super jealous. I don't know about that. I think possibly Karen was way more socially awkward. Y'all... I'm going to tell you this about attractiveness, because especially if you're a young person listening, and I look at the demographics, we have a lot of young people listening. They don't fucking matter. Your personality matters. Missy was popular because she was sweet and fun and outgoing, and she was a good listener. Because when you look at pictures of the girls side by side, I'm going to be honest, they're hard to tell apart. Aww. One of them's just slightly bigger framed and taller, but they both kind of had the same hairdo. They had these little sweet faces. You know, y'all... Don't with that. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
Stop sexualizing children too.
And don't sexualize yourself. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can just be yourself, just be a kid, and just be happy.
And enjoy things.
Yes.
Enjoy the things that you like. Don't be weird. Don't feel weird about it. 'Cause
No.
everybody made me feel weird about the little micro fixations I had and things I thought were cool. Think they're cool. Because to somebody they are. And yeah.
The things you like aren't cringe. And if they are, so what? Just develop your personality. That's what makes someone very attractive.
Yeah.
Period. Their personality.
Yep.
Missy
Having
was
one.
attractive because she was so effervescent.
That's a good word.
It is a good word. So I don't like to lean on the jealousy as a motive in this case because I'm not entirely sure that was the biggest motive. I think Karen felt bitter because Missy was at a different school and that she had more friends and just took to social life better. And so Karen started spreading rumors.
Oh, no.
About Missy. That she was slutty, that she was sleeping around, and it caused a lot of problems. The rumors going around while she's friends with all these guys don't look good. It doesn't. And a lot of the boys she was friends with had girlfriends. And so these girls attacked her at school. Like they physically assaulted Missy. And she had no idea that it was Karen spreading all these rumors.
That can be so dangerous. I mean, aside from their girlfriends fighting them, but it would also lead to boys thinking that they could
take advantage
of her. Because I know that happened a lot to me in high school. It's so dangerous to lie about people.
Don't. It's gross. During her junior year in high school, Missy started dating a boy named Randy. Their relationship was pretty short. Again, Missy is trying at this point in her life to go on the straight and narrow. She's taking school more seriously, and Randy was a party boy. He just really liked drinking, smoking weed, doing coke. And that was what you did in the 80s. I'm just going to be honest. Randy then immediately dated Karen.
As revenge or something?
Not really as revenge, but more like so he could stay close to Missy. He was a really icky guy. He was very obsessed with her. Now, I will say this. There are so many conflicting reports that the timeline, I'm not sure about it, but I do believe that this is the motive right here. So Missy and Randy are at a party. And they didn't go there together. But they're just, everyone's talking, and she's trying to maintain a friendship because she wants to still be friends with her exes. She doesn't want to end things on a sour note. But Randy pulls her and makes her sit in his lap. And Missy's not about it. And she thinks it was really inappropriate. She gets up, she's like, cut it out. Now, I don't know if Karen was there and saw it. Some sources say yes, including Karen, but Karen's a big fat liar, so I don't believe anything she says.
Right, but people saw it.
Lots of people saw it. But they also saw Missy not being about it. And Missy then goes to Karen and says, hey, I think you should break up with Randy because he's gross. But Miss Karen and Randy had already moved in together, like in a little apartment.
Oh.
They were serious as far as Karen was concerned. But Karen deep down kind of knew that if Missy asked Randy to get back together, he definitely would.
Right.
And so this ended their friendship right here. Karen exploded at her.
Oh, the suggestion of breaking up.
Yes. And
like, hey, your dude sucks. You should break up with him.
Golly, how many friends have I lost over this, Willow?
I wonder what that sounds like.
Oh, what? You know how that is too? And I was tangentially involved in that situation? I'm not in high school. This is stupid.
So many of them.
Yeah.
I'm always that friend to warn you.
I will tell you. I've been doing tarot card readings.
The best for you.
Yes, I've been doing tarot card readings. Every time the cards say dump him,
and
I will tell you too. No, the point is I will always be honest with a friend if, especially I see their dude out with doing some shenanigans, or they're mean.
Everybody
or
deserves honesty. Regardless.
I will be honest even if you hate me now.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to lie to a friend.
Yeah. It's just honest.
I don't like that. Yeah. So once, they're not friends anymore, this pretty much devastated Missy. And I think that this is when the rumors started. I don't think it was before this incident. It is reported that way, but when I looked a little deeper into it, the rumors start after this incident about Randy. Karen is just really upset.
She's ultra retaliating.
Now she is jealous. I don't think she was jealous before, at least not to this degree. I think she saw herself as Missy's protector. She even says that later in interviews. And so I think it all stemmed that she was pretty wild about Randy, Karen was, and the suggestion that he was a bad dude and they should break up. To her, Missy was just trying to get him back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's just enraged. Enraged.
Whereas Missy's just like, I don't want anything to do with him, and I don't want you to want anything to do with him. He's literally trash.
He's garbage. Throw him away. But Karen just couldn't hear that. She was too Twitter-pated over him. And
what?
Twitter-pated. That's from Bambi.
Oh,
that's when they fall in love.
Watch Bambi.
Why?
Bambi.
Why couldn't you watch Bambi?
Because every time the mom dies at the beginning, I cry my eyes out and had to turn it off.
Oh my God! Just fast forward through that part. Jesus.
I've just never heard that word before. It's cute.
And you know, y'all, I come off as a hard ass. I'm not. Let's be clear. I am a squishy cinnamon roll person on the inside. But that is ridiculous.
Bambi.
I can watch Bambi. But I could never watch episode 3 of The Last of Us again.
Nope,
I'll throw up. So Missy was also best friends with a girl named Laura Doyle, and I can't find any information on Laura at all. And I'm going to guess because she has completely stayed out of the media before, during, and after this whole thing. Laura's just, her past is a mystery, and she was around 17, 18 at the time of this incident and was friends with Karen also. So we're just putting that out there. They did go to the same high school. Laura seemed to be closer with Karen than she was with Misty. The two of them spread rumors about Missy and were both convinced that Missy was sleeping with their boyfriends.
Oh my God.
And Karen had started this. Let's be clear. Karen is the ringleader of this. Karen is a very strong personality. Not a good one, but a strong one. Clearly, there's a lot of mental issues going on, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So 10 days before the incident, Missy and Karen have an altercation at a park. Karen threatened Misty with a broken beer bottle and pushed her down and slapped her. Lots of witnesses saw this. Naturally, Missy was really upset about this and the rumors flying around at school. She was really done with Karen at this point. She didn't want to see her anymore. But as time kind of passed, like a few days after, she felt really bad about it. And she really wished they could fix things. Because this was her friend for nearly a decade.
Right.
This is her best friend.
Right.
And so when Laura suggested that the two of them hang out, Missy and Laura, she was like, yeah, okay, I'd love to go out. I need to be with my friends right now. I need to firm up my friendships.
Yeah.
On October 1st, 1985, Missy told her mother, Irene, that she was hanging out with a friend that afternoon. The friend was Laura Doyle. Now, it's not at all clear that Missy knew what was going to happen in any way, like she had any idea. She didn't know they were going to meet up with Karen. She didn't know that another girl named Eva Trimbolo would be hanging out with them. Laura did not tell her this. They just got in the car, and it seemed like just the two of them were going to hang out. This is not explicitly stated in any of my research, but I can't imagine Missy being cool with saying, hey, we're going to meet up with Karen later after what just happened at the park.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I kind of think Karen may have intended to kill her at the park that day. She came at her with a broken fucking beer bottle.
Yeah.
Okay? So Laura said they'd be going to Angeles National Forest, and this is a popular party / hangout spot for teens in the area. We see this in almost like every story involving teenage killers.
Right. And teenagers in general. Look at my past.
I'm still going to parks and hanging out.
Now I just go to national parks to walk around and look at things.
I'm like, cool, look at the plants. Look at these tadpoles. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I got to sit down and have this sandwich. I'm hungry. Yeah, that's what I'm not like.
I used to be partying.
I'm not doing an 8 ball like I used to. Yeah. So of course Missy was down. She always went there. Mm-hmm. Irene said that Missy looked happy and was laughing and joking with Laura, who also seemed to be in a really good mood. The two of them seemed to be getting along fine, even though Missy had a falling out with Karen, who was their mutual friend. No cause for concern. Missy's boyfriend, Jeffrey Zapka, was like really pestering her, though, to stay and hang out with him. He wanted to drive around in his Mustang with her. They were going to be edgy. But she was like, no, I really need to be with friends right now after what happened with Karen. Maybe I can fix things if I talk to Laura about it. You know, that kind of thing. So she turned him down and went off with Laura. When Missy got into Laura's car, she probably had no idea that they were going to stop along the way so that Karen and Eva could follow behind them. Y'all, I'm not even sure she knew they were following behind them. I don't think she did.
So scary.
Yeah. Now, of course, the perpetrators all claim they had no intention of hurting Missy, but I don't believe this for a fucking second.
It's synchronized.
It's synchronized. There's more to it. We'll get into it. The day passed and Irene eventually called... Okay, before I start with this bit, there are conflicting stories on this, but the outcome's the same. So I'll just put that out there. So the day passed, and Irene eventually called Laura's mother and asked where Missy was, because it was getting kind of late. And Irene had made Missy promise to call her if she was going to be out later than 8 p.m., and she hadn't heard from her that afternoon. And it was starting to get close to 8. Laura's mother hadn't seen Missy, so she asked Laura. Laura then called Irene and said that they had gone out and Missy had met up with 3 boys driving a blue Camaro. She left Missy with the boys, who she didn't know, and went to get some gas, saying she'd be right back. When Laura came back, Missy and the boys were gone, and so she just assumed she'd gone to hang out with them instead. But that didn't sound right to Irene.
Sounds like a teenager lie.
It does. Now, some accounts will state that Laura was the one who called, asking where Missy was, called Irene. And they say it was around 6 p.m. I don't buy this story because 6 p.m. is when she picked up Missy.
Right.
So, no.
Yeah.
I just think that it was the other way around. But I'm just going to put both versions out there. She told the same Camaro story regardless. Right. So I just think it's interesting, especially in these older cases, that as time passes, the telephone game goes into effect so much. You hear so many versions of the same story with just little details moved around.
Right.
And it makes me feel like we'll just never know what actually happened in any of these cases.
That's why I love that there's surveillance videos. Like, everybody has them on their front porch. Everybody has them at the front of the businesses. You can literally watch somebody walk all the way down a street and watch where they go.
Because people's memories are faulty and details get left out, especially in stressful situations.
Well, and interrogations, especially back then, were really intense. And they could turn you around and get you confused. And
well, that's how you get so many false confessions, for sure. Yeah, so Missy never returns home. The next day, Laura Doyle and Irene go to the police station to file a missing persons report. They took statements from both Laura and Irene. Laura said the 2 of them had gone to Branford Park and that Missy had struck up a conversation with 2 boys, not 3. See, she's already getting her story all messed up. Laura took that opportunity to go and get gas, and when she returned, Missy was gone. Irene was concerned that Missy had been hanging around the wrong people lately, and given her troubles at school, she was even more worried. Naturally, this caused the police not to take the case very seriously, like they should have. They saw Missy as a troubled teen who likely ran off with some boys. They figured she's kind of just a runaway or was screwing around and would be home soon once the partying was out of her system, which is utter bullshit. And I really wish we would put forth the same amount of effort into runaways as we do missing children.
It's the same thing.
They're missing.
They're gone. Like, even if they're gone partying on their own free will, they don't have free will. They're children. So go get them.
Go get them.
Go get them.
17 is not an adult.
You're not supposed to be partying anyway. Go home. Go take a shower. Go to bed.
But if, I can't find my kid and it's out of character, and it was, for the record, for Missy to not show up.
But it shouldn't matter. It's still their job.
I digress. I'll get off my soapbox. Maybe. Irene was frantic to find her daughter. Days passed with no word from Missy, and that wasn't at all like her. Despite partying sometimes and recreational drug use, Missy was a good kid who didn't worry her mother much. The rumors about Missy were far, far exaggerated. She was just a normal, happy teenage girl. At 17, she was experimenting, asserting her independence, but she wasn't a troubled kid. I want to stress that because I'm really tired of the victim blaming that the media does, and the perpetrators do too in this case. They really blame it and try and make themselves the victims. It was Missy who was the victim. Karen aided Irene in the search for Missy.
Ew.
Even though she knew the entire time just where Missy was.
I fucking hate that.
Both Irene and Karen drove around for hours and hours looking for that blue Camaro that simply did not exist. That Karen let this cruel charade go on for days is just disgusting to me. Disgusting. 3 days later, some hikers in Angeles National Forest found what they thought was a mannequin lying face down in a stream.
I hate that sentence.
I do too. When they got closer, they found it was the body of a young woman. A large tree trunk was laid on top of her shoulders to keep her face and body down in the water that she drowned in. She had bruises all over, and clumps of her hair had been cut and pulled out and were scattered all around her body. The body was identified as Missy. They had found her purse nearby with her student ID in it. Law enforcement immediately thought this was a spiteful, rage-fueled killing by someone Missy knew. Because of the hair.
Yeah.
That's personal.
Yeah.
Cutting a girl's hair is personal. To humiliate and degrade and punish.
And especially to, like, throw it right there. Like.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And they knew how much she loved her hair. Mm-hmm. She would often make them wait for her while she was fixing it.
Yeah. You had to.
They also believed that more than one killer was involved because of how heavy the log was they placed over her small body. The log weighed a little over 100 pounds.
Jesus.
I couldn't lift something that heavy.
No.
Missy's hands had been tied behind her back. Her eyes were both blackened, her teeth were chipped, and they found an earring nearby that had been ripped out of her ear.
Oh my God.
Because of all the jewelry and Missy's belongings nearby, law enforcement immediately ruled out robbery as a motive.
She went through so much because that was the drowning
terror.
that killed her.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So they beat her relentlessly. Missy had died of drowning, and there were no drugs or alcohol in her system when she died. So rumors about that are just rumors. I only include them because they've been bantered about in this case regardless of the evidence. It is true that Missy's grades had been slipping, and she'd been skipping class here and there, but it's also true she was turning all that around.
It's also true that school sucks.
Hey, and guess what, y'all? This is shit I did in high school.
Yeah.
I skipped so much class. I was barely there my junior year.
I was a super senior because of how many times I skipped school.
Yeah.
And I didn't even win it then.
No.
I ended up dropping out and getting my GED.
Dropped out my senior year with a 4-point grade average because I'm a winner. Yeah, and I was smoking weed at lunch. I was sometimes smoking weed at school. Did I try other drugs? Yes.
I smoked cigarettes on campus and had a flask in my purse.
I had a friend who had a water bottle full of Sprite and vodka.
Yeah.
And we would all have a little sippy before class started.
Oh, and we had the purple drink back in our day.
Purple drink. That's right. Listen, my point is, Missy's not a trouble kid. She's a normal kid doing normal kid things.
Yes.
Doing just kid things.
Yes.
So we can quit the victim blaming. She went out there with a friend and she had no idea this was going to happen to her. It doesn't matter if she went out there to do drugs.
It doesn't matter if she went out there and was like, you know what? I'm going to get my ass beat today. That's what I'm going to go do. She still shouldn't have gotten assaulted the way.
And she shouldn't have died.
She shouldn't have died.
No.
But that beating was horrendous.
Yes.
What she went through.
It was terrible. She didn't deserve to have a horrific and horrendous death. Some men's overalls were found nearby, as well as some cigarette butts and beer bottles, and these didn't yield any fingerprints or results. Remember, it's 1985, no DNA.
Did they just plant it there?
No, they were just there because people partied there all the time.
Oh, okay.
The case was already starting to go cold. Both Laura and Karen attended Missy's funeral. Karen sent a sympathy card with $20 in it.
Ew.
And Irene found this very strange.
Yeah.
She was like, I guess she just feels bad because she left her with those boys, because that's the only story she has from Laura.
Yeah, but $20?
Yeah.
Like a tip your waitress? Like,
Very weird. Remember, it's 1985. $20 is a lot more back then.
not much more, though. It's still $20.
There are conflicting reports from Irene and Karen, but I'm going to go with Irene's account because Karen is a liar in general.
Yeah.
Karen became obsessed with Missy's case. She went to the creek where Missy's body was found frequently. She tacked up newspaper clippings about the murder to her walls. Karen also went over to the Avila household a lot. She became like a surrogate daughter, according to herself in interviews. And according to Irene, Karen moved into the Avila household for a while with her 2-year-old daughter. Karen had gotten pregnant when she was 14 in school and had a 2-year-old daughter. I didn't include it because it's just not really relevant to the case, except when it is.
Right.
She moved in. I just can't believe the unmitigated fucking gall to move into your friend's house that you murdered.
So viciously.
Yeah, and I'll go through the murder in a minute. Karen comforted Irene, and Missy's mother had no idea she let her daughter's killer into her home and was hugging her and crying on her shoulder. Karen went so far as to sleep in Missy's bedroom and even wore some of the dead girl's clothing so she said she could feel closer to Missy. And Irene,
disgusting.
none the wiser, kind of took comfort in this. She saw Karen as the same as her. They're both grieving Missy. To Irene, it was like having a piece of her daughter with her when her daughter was gone. And Karen knew this and took advantage of it. I watched the interview on Dr. Phil, and y'all, I do actually encourage you to watch it. I'll include it in the description. Just because she's so fucking terrible. I want you to see it. There's something very wrong with this woman. She knew she was trying to replace Missy in Irene's life. She was so obsessed with Missy and so enraged at her former friend that even over 30 years later, she was still talking hatefully about her. Karen started drinking heavily. Almost every day she went to Missy's grave, leaving flowers and small gifts. Once Irene came into Missy's old room to find Karen sitting on the edge of the bed, just white as a sheet, her eyes huge. You know, she said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I've just seen Missy's ghost."
Shut the fuck up, really?
Shut up. I'm with you. But I think she was haunted by her guilt.
But I mean, if it really was, if she really did see her, good.
Keep that to yourself, you bitch. Come on.
I don't know. I hope she's haunted.
I do too. I feel this is so insidious.
I hope she wakes up every single night to her face every single night.
I do too.
Just staring at her.
She did talk extensively about looking into her friend's dead face and feeling scared. Boo. I'm just like, shut up.
I hope she's scared forever.
Yeah. At first, the number one suspect in Missy's murder was her boyfriend, Jeffrey. He told law enforcement that he had been at Angeles National Forest celebrating his birthday that night. And he'd been with friends, and this was when Missy goes missing, of course. Jeffrey was into drugs and alcohol and firearms, and he was definitely a bad boy. He frequently bought alcohol for Missy and her friends because he was quite a few years older. Jeffrey told police that he was upset that Missy hadn't shown up for his birthday dinner, and then the party in the forest, he was like worried about her. But this looks suspicious to police, and I can see why, because he is bad in interviews. In interviews, he was evasive and neglected to mention an altercation he'd had with 2 guys earlier that week. Missy and Jeffrey had a gun pulled on them because of a drug deal gone bad that Jeffrey had made. These 2 were going to kidnap both Jeffrey and Missy until the debt was settled, but Jeffrey had managed to convince the guys to let Missy go, and he went with them alone instead. And I gotta admit that Jeff made himself look really suspicious here.
Well, I can see why he didn't mention it, but
Dude,
only in hindsight. You know what I mean?
Once you're accused of murder, you mention all the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask for a lawyer. Don't talk to the fucking cops.
Yeah.
That night of the murder, Jeffrey and his friend got into a minor fender bender earlier in the evening, and Jeff ended up taking his friend to the ER, and he was there all night during the hours that they believed Missy was murdered. Since this was such an easily verifiable alibi, the police no longer considered him a suspect.
Good.
Another suspect was an unnamed girl that Missy had gotten into a physical fight with. A week after her murder, Missy was set to testify in that case against the girl for assault.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so police saw this as a possible motive.
I would totally see that.
The girl was facing jail time.
Yeah.
But the girl had a rock-solid alibi and thus was no longer on the list. A lot of fervor was built up over this blue Camaro in town. Missy's friends were like searching for it, all her friends. And some of them ended up pulling a kid out of a blue Camaro at a stoplight and beat the shit out of him.
Oh my God.
The police brought in 2 boys, and of course it was the wrong Camaro. It wasn't anybody. It was just an innocent bystander that drove a blue Camaro. And they brought him in for questioning, and they said, yeah, we know Missy, but we weren't at the park that day, and we hadn't seen her the day of her murder. They also had rock-solid alibis, and Laura could not pick them out of a lineup because she invented the story. So that lead went dry, too.
Right.
Karen seemed to have her own ideas who murdered Missy as the months went on. She broke up with Randy a week before the murder and went around school telling everyone that Randy had been obsessed with and had been stalking Missy. Now, that may be true. But what wasn't true is that Randy killed her. He did not. This accusation resulted in Randy being jumped at a party where he received such a horrible beating that he had to be hospitalized.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So a whole year after the murder, with no fresh leads in sight, Karen brought Laura to the police station, claiming Laura had told her something that needed to be shared with police. Laura confessed that the story about the boys and the blue Camaro wasn't true at all. That Laura had instead dropped Missy off at a church parking lot because Missy had a drug deal she needed to make. And the reason she told that story is she didn't want to ruin Missy's reputation.
Oh my God.
Again, this is made up too. That never
Clearly,
happened. And you
it's just annoying.
It just stinks of Karen. Mm-hmm. It just stinks of Karen because she loved spreading rumors. Mm-hmm. Police then went after every local drug dealer they could get their hand on and questioned them. This led nowhere. It was proven that Missy had no involvement in drugs. She was not a heavy drug user.
She wasn't even high at the time that she died.
No. She wasn't, like, on drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, she smoked grass every once in a while, but
who doesn't?
Fucking doesn't. Yeah. Missy's case goes cold.
God.
2 years pass, and the mutual friend Ava turns up at the police station with a story to tell.
Oh, good job.
Ava had moved out of town after the murder because she'd been so scared. She said she waited this long to tell police her story because she was terrified of the other people involved.
Yeah.
In addition, Ava's brother had recently taken his own life, and this made her realize how much agony Irene must have been going through all this time not knowing who killed her daughter. Now, they didn't take her seriously, the police, at all, until she said Missy's hair had been cut. Because this was a detail that had not been released to the public. Only someone who had been there would know about it. And here's Ava's story. She said that Laura and Missy showed up at her place in a car, and that she followed them with Karen in the car. They drove, and again, it's not clear if Missy even knew they were following them. I don't know that she was. I don't think she would have been cool with any of this.
I doubt she knew.
So they all get out of the car. Missy is surprised that Karen is there, but at first Karen kind of ignores her and instead picks a fight with Laura. The two of them are yelling and cussing at each other as they're kind of walking further into the woods. Missy and Ava follow. And that nobody knows what's going on. It's like really confusing. But once they're deeper in the woods, Laura and Karen turn around and turn on Missy. Ava said they called Missy a slut and accused her of sleeping with their boyfriends. Karen produced a knife, which she brandished at Missy. Laura then tied Missy's hands behind her back and they began to attack her. They hit her, shoved her, and then started cutting her hair. In Karen's testimony, she said she only wanted to scare Missy and bully her, but that she had no idea that Laura was going to murder her. And of course, Laura says Exactly the same
Right.
thing. Ava told law enforcement that the minute they started cutting Missy's hair, she got freaked out and ran back to the car. She heard a terrible, blood-curdling scream, and a few minutes later, Karen and Laura returned. Laura told Eva that, quote, the bitch was dead and that she deserved it. Ava left town very shortly after that, fearing that Laura and Karen would decide to get rid of her because she was a witness. She was deathly afraid of those girls.
Yeah.
And of course, she got a plea deal out of this for her confession. You know, absolutely. She was never charged. And I do think she should have been. Because I don't think for 1 minute that the parties in this were innocent at all.
Yeah.
At all. Maybe Eva didn't know, but Laura and Karen definitely knew. They plotted this. They absolutely knew it was going to be a murder. They believed that Missy had slept with their boyfriends. She hadn't, by the way. And they wanted revenge. Karen is the ringleader in this. Notice in the beginning that little fake fight that her and Laura had.
Staged.
They staged that to get Missy's guard down.
Yeah.
I think the heat was off of her, and then that's when they ganged up on her, when she was far enough away from the road that help couldn't come to her. That is first-degree murder. Just putting that out there.
Oh, no, really?
They did not get charged with that, and we'll get into that. Yeah, it's fucking infuriating. Law enforcement brought Laura and Karen in for questioning separately. They didn't even let them see each other enter the building, which was smart. Police left them alone in a room separately for over an hour, and this is a tactic police use in interrogation often. It's a good one. Sweat it out. And it worked. Both girls immediately began pointing the finger at the other. Both Laura and Karen were arrested for the murder of Missy. Both of them had beaten Missy severely. One of them had cut her hair, and my vote is on Karen because she had the knife. And one of them sat on Missy's legs while the other sat on her head until the bubbles stopped breaking the surface of the creek.
Jesus.
Together, they placed the heavy log on top of her and left. No matter what Karen says later, I truly believe she was the ringleader of this. Karen was both obsessed with and hated Missy. She saw Missy as prettier, better than her, stole her boyfriend, ruined her perfect relationship, which I think is the primary motivation. She kind of made herself believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like she wanted to believe it so she can be the victim. Karen always wants to be the victim. When you hear her talk, you're like, all right, get yourself off that piece of wood you just nailed yourself to. It's gross.
You can't be the victim if you're sitting on somebody's head and drowning them with your butt. Like that, you're the murderer, Karen. Like, what the fuck?
Laura and Karen definitely murdered this girl. Yeah. I believe she convinced Laura that Missy was sleeping with her boyfriend too. Missy had dated Laura's boyfriend before she had, so Laura found this rumor believable. Both women were sentenced to 15 to life on second-degree murder charges, and both are now free after having served their time and meeting the conditions of parole. The grand jury wouldn't agree on first degree. And I fucking don't know why. It is so... Oh, they should both still be in jail. Especially Karen, who I believe is dangerous, for the record.
No, I do not. I don't understand juries. I don't understand why that's okay.
Karen wrote a book about her life and the murder under the pen name Kay Crane. It's called Hope Beyond the Fences. She was going to sneakily try and profit off her friend's death that she caused. Karen published a second book just days before the anniversary of Missy's death called My Life, I Lived It.
Wish she didn't. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Karen said she would donate some of the profits from the sales of her books to Missy's family, but Missy's family wanted no part of that bullshit, so they sued her in 2015.
Good.
And thus prevented her from profiting from her books.
Good.
Karen claims this was all to spread an anti-bullying message. And she even goes to schools and speaks about bullying.
So I killed my friend and you shouldn't do that.
It's wrong. Who the fuck is hiring?
Then walk yourself back into prison if you really think bullying is wrong.
Thank you. it just makes me want to puke. Who is hiring this person to stand in front of our kids? Here's the thing, pisses me off. Fucking right wing tries to ban books about the queer experience.
Yeah.
And yet we're hiring this murderer to come talk to children. I'd rather 400 drag queens come talk to my kid than this bitch. Sorry, y'all, I'm hot.
Oh, my blood pressure's up. I have too many things to say.
It's too fucking gross.
Yeah.
Karen is obviously trying to make a career out of the murder, which she absolutely shouldn't be able to do. We have laws against this, but Karen is a persistent little cockroach person. So here she is out there scuttling around trying to grift. Her appearance on Dr. Phil is disgusting. She blames Missy for using her, which she didn't do. And then she blames the death entirely on Laura. That was all her idea. She had nothing to do with it. She didn't know that was going to happen. Boo, I'm a victim. Wah. I just hate this person. Yeah. She's so diabolically clever, so sneaky, duplicitous,
apparently charismatic to some degree. If people are
no, she definitely is. I can see it.
People are believing her.
She talks like people believe her. Do you know what I mean? She believes her own bullshit.
She's manipulative. She's
very manipulative. Remember, she's a victim and she's innocent in all of this.
Sure.
The truth is, we are never going to know whether it was Laura or Karen that was the ringleader or who killed Missy. But they both had involvement, and they both point the finger at each other as to who held her under the water. But to me, they might as well both have done it. Laura Doyle has not been in the public since her release from prison. We do not know what's going on with her. Just as well go away. Missy's family got Missy's Law passed, which requires criminals who are writing about victims, they have to try and contact the family first, and that they can't profit off books and media and films about their crimes. And it's a good law.
Yes.
It's just sad it had to come about this way. There's just a million reasons why I find these particular cases so scary.
Yeah.
It's because I was in toxic friend groups that were really intense.
Absolutely.
Drugs were involved.
Absolutely.
Boys were involved.
Absolutely.
My friends were messing around with each other, and and they were being really weird at each other. I had a friend who self-harmed, my name on their leg. Oh. Yeah, and so I can see this shit having happened to me. I can see them plotting against me, luring me somewhere, and I would have gone because I loved them, because I was the odd one out.
Being jealous. Because you're weird and really good at shit.
Yeah, I had a lot of jealousy issues. I still get that sometimes as a 43-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And it's just like, y'all, I am a nobody in Arkansas that can barely afford groceries today.
Yeah.
We're eating weird shit because I'm poor. You don't need to be jelly. Cut it out. You're your own person, and I'm sure you're great. That's my message. That's how we don't bully. But that's why we should take fucking bullying seriously.
Yeah. And clearly mental health, because no bully is in their right mind. Nobody who puts somebody else down and hurt someone else.
Karen is very sick, and I think Laura is a follower.
Yeah.
I think she's the type of person that could just be pushed into doing anything.
Yeah.
But Karen is still out there trying to get the spotlight for the horrible thing that she was involved in.
It's disgusting.
And it's gross.
Why would you want to be known for that?
I would want to disappear too. I just wouldn't do it. So there's that.
Well, no, but if I ever did something so heinous, I would never want to be looked upon.
No.
I'd go change my name and change my identity and
Fuck
no.
that, no. Because there's something deeply, deeply wrong with her.
Yeah, she's weirdly proud of it.
She is proud of it. You can tell.
It's fucking disgusting.
She's like, I planned this and I kind of got away with it a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, they gave her a reason to be proud of herself.
Ugh, despise her. Anyway, a business time. We have a Patreon. Go there and look at it and pick a tier and join. That's my advice.
Yep. Do it.
That's all I'm going to say about our Patreon. We upload a special Patreon episode every week. We have all sorts of cool stuff. We're going to be changing some things around, so I don't want to get into details about tiers, but just keep an eye out. We have a lot of exciting things going on. In addition, we have a Discord. Why aren't you on there? Are you scared? You'll be like, Lillian, I am older and I do not know this Discord nonsense. And I say unto thee, same. I had to have my children show me. But if you're having a hard time joining our Discord, please reach out to me. I'll put my email in this description, and I will give you screenshots and hold your hand, and we'll get you there.
Yeah.
Because don't be scared to reach out to me. Y'all, I'm not famous. Again, I can't afford groceries right now. So you guys, I'm humble. You can come and say hello. It's fine. But yeah, come to our Discord. We share like all of our creations. We share what we make for dinner.
Yeah.
We talk about the cases. We talk about all kinds of stuff. It's a cool, safe space.
We disassociate.
And we do that too.
It is a safe space.
Fresh hot memes.
Yes.
Delivered daily.
Yes.
And I want to see your kitty cats and your puppy dogs and your snaky boys and all your little pets and your kids and all that stuff. Love it. It's a wonderful little supportive community.
Yeah, and we aren't really seen very much on Facebook. Like our Facebook visibility is down. Our Instagram visibility is down. And so like we're not really on very many platforms. Discord is kind of like
That's where we at.
that's where we can be.
I love it there.
Yeah.
It's very great.
It is.
So join that. And I'm going to mention one more thing. Hey, it's Merris's birthday month. And I want to take Merris to get some sushi. I want to get him a gift. Please help me make this occur. Because Merris is an angel on this earth who saved my life and the lives of my kids. And last year's birthday was so terrible and pathetic and sad. Like our car broke down on his birthday on the way home from getting some ice cream.
And then
That's all we could afford. And then the ice cream melted. And it sucked. And it's
I
just
hate
like
Merris
it's
stories because it's like I don't want to laugh.
but it's so
sad.
terrible. It's funny. I get it. We laugh about it now because it's like so
like
awful.
Those added details to it, like it's
the
one
ice
thing.
cream wasn't even able to be eaten.
Yes,
Because y'all, you can't refreeze ice cream after it
can't.
melts. It tastes
No.
like shit.
And it's weird.
And all the little bitsies is in the bottom now.
It's weird.
He just wanted
It's weird
cookies and
consistency.
cream ice cream. Bless him.
Oh, I would have just been shoveling that in while crying.
I tried to get him to eat it while we were in the car sweating to
Yeah.
death waiting for a ride, but
Yeah.
he's like, my tummy hurts because
Oh
I'm
no,
sad.
I forgot. He's got a bad tummy.
He has gastroparesis, so he's frequently in pain, especially when he gets upset.
Yes.
He's like a very nervous, sickly hamster. Please, please send him some birthday love. I have his Amazon wish list and our little various money things like Venmo, Cash App. He only has PayPal, but I put my Venmo and Cash App in there. It's going to the same place.
Merris Mondays makes y'all laugh, and I know it. They're amazing episodes. So if you've ever laughed on a Merris Monday, consider tipping Merris for his birthday.
And let me tell you this, you guys don't know this because we don't talk about it. He is so nervous
Yes.
before we record, even
It's
a year
really
and a half
precious.
on.
Yeah.
He is sweaty. He is shaking as he's sitting there. He is so scared. He has social anxiety so bad, but he does it anyway because he's just the best husband on the planet.
And it's good. He's good at it.
He's so good at it.
He's fucking hilarious.
He doesn't think he's good at it, but I know he's good at it. And that's why we have that segment because he's just hilarious. All he does is make me laugh all the time. And when I say he's the best husband in the world, I mean it. And I want to show him this year. I just want him to have one good birthday. He's turning 40. It's the big one. Before it all goes downhill. And the least I can do is show him how much I love him because he shows me every day in little tiny ways. And I'm going to cry. And I'm
Yep,
going to stop.
there we
'cause I love
go.
him very much. Boo-hoo. But that's all the business time I have. I would tell you to go buy stuff on my website, but I'm sold out of all
Read
my
I
stuff.
Devil.
Read iDevil. I have to reformat it. Wattpad really screwed it up.
Really? Okay, I don't
But
know
if you want a copy of Merris's, like, how do I classify this book?
I mean, it's his book. It's like
It's like a speculative fiction love story, horror story, apocalyptic book about the devil.
yeah.
Y'all, if you think Merris Monday is funny, that shit's hilarious. And if you want a copy of it, just ask me and I'll send it to you. Merris doesn't want money for his books. He just wants people to read them and tell him they like it.
Yes.
That would be a good birthday gift too. And that's free. Just takes your time. So I just want Merris's little star to shine because he's not as outgoing as me. And I feel sometimes like I steamroll over him and he's left in the dust. And that makes me feel like poop.
Don't feel that way.
I feel that way all the
you
time.
so much.
I know, but that makes it worse.
Oh, he loves you so much.
Yeah, he's like, I want you to have all the attention.
He sparkles so bright whenever he looks at you. He's just like beaming. It's
Don't.
just
You're
precious.
gonna make me cry. It's too mushy.
Oh,
in
it's
here.
gay as fuck, and I love it.
Oh, it is. It is very, very gay in every possible way.
Yeah.
It would make so many people clutch the pearls.
That's the kind of love everybody deserves.
That's the kind of life I'm about.
Love.
I just want to make people upset by existing. Anyway, hey, if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, please know how much I appreciate it. And the numbers have been way up, and it has made me cry, and I'm so grateful. I'm glad to know y'all are out there enjoying it, because we work really hard on this. It means a lot to us.
Y'all have been really good to us.
And before I go into a big crying episode, I'm on my period. It's just tears and hunger and too much mac and cheese. I'm going to go away.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it on that.
Yeah.
Menstruation. Goodbye.
Yeah.